Hello and welcome to the Globetrottin ADs. This podcast serves as a resource for athletic directors, activity coordinators, coaches and program associates based in international schools throughout the world. The topics of this podcast aim to help ADs and ACs gain insights and ideas to help educators thrive in their school roles and develop professionally. You're welcome to join our hosts for enlightening, informative and fun interviews with people working in this field around the world. And here are your hosts from the American International School of Vienna, Nick DeForest, and from the American International School of Budapest, Matt Fleming.
Okay, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Globetrottin ADs. Our guest today is Jared Maisel. Jared is a licensed athletic trainer originally from the United States. He's worked abroad and in the U.S., and he's the owner and operator of Good Practice LLC. He assists schools and sports clubs through planning and educating coaches, personnel, and assisting to structure organizational policy to mitigate risk and best serve student athletes. So we want to give a big welcome to Jared.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Hey, yeah, welcome for me too, Jared. Wouldn't you just start us off with a bit of your background, a bit of a profile for everybody?
Mm-hmm. Sure, thanks. Like Matt just said, I'm a certified athletic trainer. I'm from the U.S. I'm from New Jersey. Athletic training is a profession that's based out of the U.S., Canada, and Ireland. It is a trademarked profession, and what we do is we specialize in the entire spectrum of sports injuries. So the entire acute injury management phase, emergency conditions, the policy that goes along with that for the organizations, all the way through the rehabilitation, the reconditioning phase, and getting the kids back to their sport. So all in one profession, all in one stop, we can handle the entire path for any injuries that may occur in the athletics department. I got started kind of through a back way in the international school setting. I got started in Shanghai at Concordia International School, Shanghai. And the way I kind of got started there is, I guess, in your international school audience, this may be kind of interesting. I actually got started through an internship. I was contracted to the school through an orthopedic group. So the orthopedic group was my employer, and they contracted me to Concordia. And it originally was only supposed to be a 10-month internship for the school, and then naturally I ended up being there for 4 years. Chris Bishop was my supervisor there, the athletic director. Some of yourselves in the audience may know him at the American School of the Hague now. And so he was kind of my starting point in the international school setting. And from there, was able actually to move from the internship model into full-time job. We were able to advocate for the position and get it on a full-time staff position there. And Chris was very, very welcoming and supportive in launching some sports safety topics and policy at our conference level, the APAC, Asia Pacific Athletic Conference. So we established a concussion protocol there, and the athletic training profession is really growing in China and the Asia region. So 10 years ago, there weren't any athletic trainers in the area, especially in the international school. But now it's very growing, and we started a professional society there, APATS, Asia Pacific Athletic Trainer Society, and there's about 50 members now. And so we feel that some of these policies and some of these ways we're used to doing things in the U.S., we'd like to bring that to the table to the international schools to help, improve the programs, improve the safety, the student experience for the student athletes. So that's what we're trying to do as an organization. And now, after 4 years in China, I moved to Belgium, got married to my wife that I met in Concordia. And now I started this company, Good Practice LLC, and I've been doing this for about a couple of years now, working with the international schools to, help advocate and create some awareness behind some of these safety policies. And I found that I'm not a very good businessman, and that I just enjoy working with the international schools. And now here in Brussels, I'm also working part-time at ISB, International School Brussels, and St. John's International School. So Anthony Henley and Lee Roski. And the international school setting is just, I love it personally. And I met my wife through the international school industry. And it's a great setting for the, very progressive learning environments for the students, a lot of resources. And in the U.S., as an athletic trainer, there's only a few different avenues we can kind of have an impact. And I feel in the international schools, there are so many ways to get involved in the communities, whether it be, handling the sports injuries, of course, but, whether it's teaching, strength and conditioning, risk management, wellness for the students or staff. There's just, you can take and run with it any way you want in these environments.
Sure. So you were talking about getting inroads there in Belgium. Have you been able to work with some of the international schools then in Brussels, and what have you done with them so far?
As you guys probably experienced, sometimes is a pretty bureaucratic process to get your residency and your work permit and all that sort of stuff. So once that was ironed out, there's lots of opportunity here. So I started working with ISB, International School Brussels, and St. John's International School in Waterloo, not too far away. And for ISB, mainly I've been doing more of a fitness component. I've been supervising and helping out with their fitness center at the school, some of their offerings there. And at St. John's, I've been a more typical athletic trainer role and doing athletics coverage for their tournaments and their practices and their matches, and helping them start their initial policies there in concussion management and some. So I've been working with Anthony to start building that.
Okay.
All right, so you've gone to other schools and worked with their tournaments and helped out there. So is that one of the services that you can provide to anybody listening out here?
Yes. So in this area, I was fortunate to work with Frankfurt. I went over there and helped some of their coverage, and we talked about some ways that they could improve the program there. The Hague, of course, Chris. Also, last year I did a lot of travel, and I was very proactive, and I ended up just showing up basically at international schools' doorsteps and just offering to help with any policy in the athletics department or education session that I could offer. So I showed up at the American Cooperative School of Tunisia. Some of your colleagues in Bucharest, David at the American International School Bucharest, and Kylie Olsthorn at Sofia, and then I know Jason Cuthbert at Warsaw from our time in Asia together. So I just recently did a project with him, ASW.
Great.
So Jared, I'm going to ask a question about these tournaments you've worked before. Maybe kind of give us a breakdown of how it works when you arrive on, for example, maybe on a Thursday before the tournament kicks off, or what's some of the pre-work you do for getting ready for the tournament, and then once you hit the ground at a particular place, what goes on throughout the course of that weekend before you head back?
So typically, what I'll also want to have assist the school in any way possible. So what I'll tend to do is also offer doing an educational session with the coaches or a workshop with the nurses, whether it's taping or concussion education or reviewing their emergency policy. If I'm going out to a school, I want to have as much impact as possible. Okay. And so we'll try to coordinate that and schedule a meeting with, their school counselors to talk about concussions or whatever it may be, whatever the demand is. And then during the athletic event, I'll have, all the preparations that I need. I'll bring, the supplies that I think will be warranted for the event. And I'll also get familiar with the emergency policy of the school so that we're just best prepared if, knock on wood, if something ever were to occur. And then as the tournament goes on, I'm supervising all the athletic fields that I can get to. And if there is an injury that occurs, I'm documenting everything. I'm getting the students information in case any follow-up is needed. And then at the conclusion, I'm typically writing a report for the athletic director, telling them the cases that I saw in case there's any follow-up needed. And additionally, I'll follow up with the student that may have been injured and make sure that they get any care that's needed afterwards.
This is a great way for a program to do kind of an audit of their procedures and their protocols that they would have in place. And if you're coming in, you can kind of pinpoint some things or maybe find some pitfalls or recommendations for improving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right. The bigger picture is that my mission is to raise the standard of care at all the international schools. So if coming out to a school and covering an event is an entry point for that, to highlight some of these things that we could be doing, then it's a great opportunity to advance the mission.
So if you were to come out, for example, to Budapest for a tournament, if I'm running for example, CISA basketball tournament, varsity basketball tournament, mm-hmm. you would do some coaches training as well, or some coaches education, like maybe come out a day before the tournament mm-hmm. starts? And how would that work? Would it be like something you'd offer during the course of the day, or? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I'll typically have a conversation with the athletic director and get some insight on where they're at in their program and some things that could be maybe improved upon or just enhanced or whatever it may be. And going off the information that I get and my objective type of perspective, we come up with a game plan on where I could be of most benefit to the community. It could be a coach's session. It could be school nurses. It could be the upper administration. It could just be me reviewing their handbooks. So I'm just by myself reviewing or talking with the athletic director one-on-one about the program in general. And also the sports safety side, but also the performance side. Maybe some ways that they could enhance the athletic culture within the community, or offering some more training opportunity for the students, or things that need to be addressed in their fitness center or on the strength and conditioning side, or just some ideas to partner with different organizations in the community.
Okay. Actually, let's talk about that, because I noticed in your website that you also work with clubs and mm-hmm. other schools, other groups not related to schools. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that, what your experience and background is with this, and how does it interrelate with what you're doing with international schools?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of my experience has been, my mission is the international school. I have done a little bit of work with the clubs. However, that's a little trickier. It's a different type of service that the clubs are doing, and it's a different kind of focus. Whereas the international schools are very comprehensive with the students, the student athletes. They're covering, the academic side and also, the physical activity side. And that's as I've been doing this the last couple of years, I do have a personal preference towards the international schools, because there's the impact is just so great with the student experience that you as athletic directors and the coaches can have. And especially when the coaches are employed directly, they're the teachers as well. There's a lot of buy-in into the program. And as a team, as a department and a team, it's great to work with. It's a common mission and a common goal to take care of the kids and make sure that they have a great experience and they learn as much as possible while being a part of your program. The sports clubs, I'll just say that, I wish I could have more impact there. But every club is different. There's a lot of variability between the clubs, whereas at least in the international school, there is some common threads there that there is a community there, that they're on the academic side as well as the physical activity side. So that makes the sport safety process a little bit easier. Yeah,
I was going to say probably a little more accommodating for your services.
And especially now, when safeguarding and student well-being is just, being pushed to the forefront even more, than it ever has been before. And I think in all areas, right? Not just
correct. Exactly right. Exactly right. The child protection and safeguarding. We typically view that as preventing neglect in the children or abuse, those types of things. But this sports safety aspect is just as an integral part of the child protection and safeguarding aspects, because what we're doing is we're protecting their brains, we're protecting their bodies, we're protecting, hopefully preventing a cardiac arrest or an emergency situation. So these sorts of policies are built in to the umbrella of child protection and safeguarding, which is absolutely critical at all these schools.
If your school is in the market for bespoke sportswear, look no further than Kukri Sports. Kukri has evolved over the last 20 years from a bespoke sportswear manufacturer into a true sportswear partner, firmly believing in the value of sport at all levels. Bespoke teamwear forms a unique part of an individual's sporting story and represents a lasting link to their time in sport. Kukri are proud to play a part in that journey. Every individual can build their own legacy. Kukri Sports creates a sportswear range that inspires as well as performs. Start your journey today. Email the team at contact@kukrisports.com. Well, what about for anyone listening out there, some, with all your experience, some basic recommendations that maybe you have for international schools around the world that maybe can't bring you over? Just anyone that's listening, what can they do to improve their program?
Really good question. So the common thread that I would say that all international schools should have in their athletics department is to simply have caring for the student athlete at the center of their program comprehensively, academically, social emotionally, physically, and being prepared for the things that may come up that are potentially foreseeable, whether it be concussions, emergency conditions, a sudden cardiac arrest, making sure that you have as much policy and programming and rehearsing and communication as possible to cover anything that may arise. So on my end, typically the schools, they tend to lack or don't have an updated concussion management policy. So developing that is very critical, because there are a number of side effects in this adolescent age group that can arise, second impact syndrome, post-concussion syndrome, that if we don't manage these appropriately. In the same vein, on the emergency side, it'd be great if all these schools had physicals beforehand, before participation, and so that we can prevent any sudden cardiac arrests. We can find out if these kids do have some sort of allergy or orthopedic condition going on. But all these topics interrelate to having care and at the center of your program, and taking reasonable precautions to make sure that the kids are safe.
Right. That's great. And it feels like when you dive into these areas and maybe you do an audit of how your school does this or that, it's like a can of worms. Once you open the jar, you can't close it again. It's Pandora's box. And I know we looked at our program in this area a few years ago and noticed some gaping holes that we just never realized before. Like how we cared for kids after the school day ended was one big hole that we had to fill. So I think it's a great thing to do, to have schools look into this area, maybe get your advice, or run things by you or someone in your profession to try to fill those things up.
Yeah, then your last two episodes I just really, really enjoyed, and I thought they related to this topic. I didn't know if you lined it up this way, but it seemed like it matched really well up with this. Your recent interview with Mark Hull of 3D, right, and the one before that with Kirby Boychuk over in Moscow. Right. And man, I was blown away about what Kirby was doing over there at his school, doing the emergency rehearsal drills and bringing coaches and students into the picture on concussion and CPR first aid training. That was a really awesome program that sounds like he got going there. And like I was just saying with Mark Hull at 3D, I haven't gone through the program, but when what really I was really blown away by was when he was talking about the first dimension, having the foundational purpose. Right. And I think you even said you try to start with addressing why are we here with our coaches, and what are we trying to accomplish, our ultimate goal. Right. And sports safety is just the same. It's in the same vein. It's a part of that same conversation, is that we have a common care for the student. And these are conditions that are, if we're in athletics long enough, these are more than likely to occur. So it's our duty and our moral and ethical obligation to be at least reasonably prepared for these things that may come up.
Well said. I was participating in the Zoom conference last week you did for the CISA folks, and it was great. And it was good overview of what you do. Appreciate it. You gave us some information about some online resources that maybe folks can check out, or you gave us some resources specifically for concussion management. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, maybe in case there's anybody who missed that Zoom, or if there's any resources you want to point us to for online needs? Yeah,
sure. Hopefully we can have that. I hope that we can put that session up, and we'll get that out to all the athletic directors out there. But there's a ton of great resources out there. Any school, they can really educate themselves and develop these policies with some of the tools out there. One of the great ones out there is the NFHS, the National Federation of High Schools. This is an organization that has a lot of awesome resources for all aspects of athletic directors. The tool that I use the most and I recommend the most is Concussion in Sport online training program for coaches. It's about a 20 to 30 minute online portal that is very thorough and very it takes concussions, it really puts it in the shoes of the coach, the actual sport coach, what they're likely to see, what they're likely to hear. So one of the things we can do that all athletic directors can do right out of the gate is just simply educate their folks, educate their community on these emergency conditions and concussions. By educating alone, you create awareness and you create some buy-in to launch any programs down the road that you may want to implement as an athletic director. So the education piece, NFHS is great. Also the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in the U.S., they have a heads up program, a heads up campaign, and it has tons of great resources for the school nurse, for the counselors, for the coaches, for the administrators, everyone. Educational resources help get your people, again, aware of the things that may arise. Out of, I believe, your state, Ohio, the Nationwide Children's Hospital, they have a great guide on how to build your own concussion program. That's my number one recommendation to administrators that are looking to investigate that. And then on the emergency side, there's a great website, I believe through the NFHS. I think they collaborate with anyonecansavelife.org. And they have a great guide that walks you through the exact steps you need to take to create and rehearse and organize emergency action planning. So if we can, really address the key 2 or 3 things in the sports safety realm that may come up, that they're the biggest glaring issues, if we can cover those, then we're going to improve our programs a great deal by addressing these, by being prepared.
That's great.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in finding out more about these websites, I know you have them listed in the resources page of your website, so that's Good Practice LLC.com.
Yeah, exactly right. Good Practice LLC.com. On the resources, these are all free resources. Thank you to all these organizations that put this stuff together. This is great stuff and really helpful to our international setting. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of tailored guides and resources to fit our specific needs, but these resources really help give the ADs the tools to extrapolate what's best for their program.
Great. Good stuff. Good sharing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just want to move on to the next section we wanted to chat about was general guidelines for student, staff, health, wellness recommendations. This current state is in a lockdown situation at home with distance learning. I know my kids are doing that. My wife's teaching at home. I'm trying to keep busy, of course, with things I need to do. But maybe you have some recommendations you can share with us for general health and wellness.
Yes.
The current state of affairs in the world.
Yeah. So, but that was one of my side duties when I was at Concordia in Shanghai. I was also the wellness coordinator. So I mainly worked with the staff, the faculty and staff, on their general health needs, whether it be talking nutrition, general exercise, fitness, things like that, getting them oriented in the fitness center, things like that. That's another area that an athletic trainer can get involved with. This is a very difficult circumstance for everyone involved. And what I think one of the positive things I think it does is it can really realign our values to what's really important. I think this situation is going to amplify that on what's really important. And what is really important is, obviously the health and safety of everyone, including, your family and your respective school communities. Not only the health and safety, but also the general well-being. This is going to be very challenging mentally and emotionally for a lot of folks. And it's very important that each individual finds, comfort in one another, even though we're disconnected at the moment. It's going to be maybe difficult to figure out, and it may be different for each person. But staying connected as much as possible not only helps yourself, but it helps other people. So again, like I was saying, realigning our values. I think this current situation, it can't strengthen the argument enough for having live in-person school community. How important it is in education and in society and for our kids, for the student development. So maintaining that community as much as possible. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do this via a screen or over the phone, which creates its own issues. We do see, obviously, on the wellness side, we do see screen time is a huge issue. So picking and choosing what is true valuable screen time and is going to be important, and monitoring that, balancing academics with just staying emotionally, mentally at equilibrium is going to be really important. So very broad.
Built-in timer to kind of go off, so we get away from the screen, go do something else, get up.
Yes, yeah. There's lots of great tools for that. Either app-based or just built into your device. We really need to be cognizant of this, and we need to instead of killing time by scrolling through the social medias, and we go to kill time, and all of a sudden it becomes 2 hours, but we're also doing work for 2 or 3 hours a day on our normal duties, or the students are doing work. All of a sudden that's 5-6 hours of I'm on the screen staring at this bright light in front of my face.
Yeah.
And then we have trouble sleeping because of that, and then that builds a vicious circle of the emotional anxiety, mental health issues, because of the side effects of the screen time and not being able to have disrupted sleep. So
it's a huge topic. We could spend the whole episode probably just talking about getting enough rest and sleep and the whole cycle of that. And
absolutely. And then the sketch, the normal schedule that goes along with that. It's very easy to sleep in till 10 o'clock and stay up till 1 a.m. during these non-traditional times. But boiling it down, I think this is going to, I guess, again, just realign our value system and things that are really important. So I think
I agree.
Each individual in each community should really focus on those core values.
Yeah, it's a recalibration time. You got to get that sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Great tips for everybody, right? Athletes, coaches, ADs, parents, everybody.
Coach Evaluator is the premier coach evaluation software for schools and athletic organizations, and preferred coach evaluation solution of the NIAAA and the Positive Coaching Alliance. The system is completely customizable with an always growing evaluation template library for athletic directors to reference. Coach Evaluator offers a built-in workflow tracking each coach evaluation from start to finish, including document uploads and email notifications. There are not only evaluations for ADs to use, but also self-evaluations and parent-player evaluations of coaches. There is built-in detailed historical reporting allowing the athletic director to analyze their coach's performance over time. Learn more about digitizing and simplifying your coach evaluation process by visiting www.coachevaluator.com. Mention Globetrottin ADs to receive a $200 discount on the yearly rate.
Why don't we switch back to a bit of the personal side and ask you a question about your, maybe being new to the area of Europe where you're at right now. What was one of the coolest things you've seen or done up in Belgium? Something we got to check out if we get there.
Belgium is great. For a small country as it is, it really punches above its weight in a lot of areas. Being in Brussels, one of the best parts about it is the diversity. There's all types of restaurants and communities here. I could walk down the street and get some great Vietnamese food. I can, walk the other way and get some great Central African food. It's for me. I travel for food. That's why I get around. But Belgium is great. Obviously, long history, medieval times, lots of great castles. A lot of beautiful countryside down south in the Ardennes. Really easy in a couple hours you can get away and be in the middle of a beautiful forest and these rolling hills and castles and all sorts of stuff. Belgium, really, really awesome. Great place to live.
It's not just chocolate and French fries.
That's a big part of it, and the waffles and the beer. That's a big part of it, but it has a lot to offer. And being the hub of Europe, it's very easy to bounce around and, get over to Germany, get over to France. And, it's really, it really exceeded my expectations overall.
So there's a huge selection there, but have you nailed down a favorite beer yet?
Oh, geez.
Still an ongoing process.
Yeah, it's still an ongoing process. It's like saying, it's like asking what the best one piece work of art is of in all the Vatican. What's the best piece of artwork out there? The diversity of the beer is phenomenal. I know Austria and Germany. You guys have some good stuff, but I'm very confident to say that Belgium does it the best.
They've got a great selection there, that's for sure. If you get a chance, get down to Louvain as well. That's a cool little town, and they got good selections down there too.
Yep, yeah. There's tons of great little towns to visit in Belgium.
All right, so we'll lean towards wrapping it up. So we'll just ask what's next for Jared and Good Practice LLC. Anything on the horizon?
So I'm continuing my work with individual international schools, and continue to write some publications. Hopefully, I'll give a shout out to the Future of Sports Coaching Conference. I'll be presenting there for anyone that's going to be heading that way in August in Dusseldorf. And hopefully talking more with CISA and the other athletic conferences to see any way I can help out.
Okay. And once again, where can folks go to learn more about you?
So that's going to be goodpracticellc.com. Bunch of free resources there. If any athletic directors have any questions about anything, please drop me a line through there. Always happy to help in any way that I can.
Thanks for spending the time with us today. It was great.
Thank you guys. This is really a great project, and this really promotes the inner collaboration of athletic directors, and that's really key to really enhancing all our programs and conferences, and obviously also keeping kids safe.
Yeah, once we get back to business as usual, we'll look forward to seeing you out there. All right, thanks, Jared.
Whoa, don't turn us off just yet. I have a conference update for you. But first, I just want to say thanks to everyone who's reached out to me about the conference, either to be a presenter or a participant. It's been a lot of fun to organize so far, and we're really looking forward to everything that's going to happen on April 21st and 22nd. We're going to kick it all off next weekend with a special conference podcast between Matt and I, and we'll publish all the participant info on globetrottin.ads.com. So have a great week and look forward to that.